Holy smokes, here we are.
We are here. It's Fat Mascara, a podcast about beauty culture, a tagline we did not come up with till 6 years in.
More. Listen, if you made it this far and you don't know what you're listening to or what it's about,
please see episodes 1 through 719. We didn't even start numbering the episodes till like
Jen, listen. If you told me when we were first starting, so yeah, like flash forward, so you guys are going to put out about 700 something of these. I would be like, I can't do it. Like, it's too much for my mind to wrap around. Like, I don't have enough time. I'm going to die before then. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. I wouldn't even think that many could wrap around the earth. Yeah. It's too many for my head to contain. If this is your
first episode, you're joining us in weird time. She's Jessica Matlin. I'm Jennifer Sullivan.
They know.
Can I say, when I was looking through, this episode is going to be a fun look back. I found the original agreement we did with Embassy Row when we started this, and it says that they were signing us on for 12 episodes.
Are you serious?
I am serious. 12 episodes. And then we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes.
They said 720 episodes later.
Yeah, we went. Yes, we started with Embassy Row. Thank you, Britt, for taking a chance on an unknown kid. And we've had so many different team members, producers, interns.
Oh, I have a big list to read at the end. Don't you worry. NPR style. I'm going to roll credits and just start listing names. So stay tuned till the end for that. Oh, she cracked a fresh Diet Coke.
Yeah.
It's all coming out now.
It's all coming out. It's been such an amazing, wild ride. And it's been almost 10 years. The world has changed. I mean, Obama was president when we started. Before we get into that, the bulk of this episode, just so we're laying this out for you, is we're going to do nostalgia hardcore. We're going to look back at the top, the bottom, the ins, the outs, the great, who was president, how old we were, everything we went through. But I do feel like I have to share my news since it just came out. Let's do it. Let's roll it out.
Let's do the... If you were waiting
the reveal.
The big reveal. So the reason Fat Mascara is ending as you know it is I took a full-time job. I am going to the New York Times. I will be leading beauty and personal care coverage at Wirecutter. They're doing a big expansion. I did not know, this job did not exist a year ago, 6 months ago. When I saw that, then they came to me and we started talking, I was just like, wait, this makes sense. I can't tell you how excited I am. It's all about getting to the truth. It's all about trying to make something that like is objective, subjective, and like find out what people want and talk about beauty and personal care in this personal way, yet also in this scientific-y and objective way because we test products there.
You're going to love it. You're going to be testing and evaluating and getting into the guts.
Everybody I've interviewed with at this point when this airs, it'll be my first day at work, I think, is so smart. I'm so excited. So it was a tough decision because obviously, they value independent journalism, which means you can't also have your own media company on the side when you work for the New York Times. So Jess and I have been through it in the last 2 months talking about this back and forth, but I'm excited to be starting something new.
Yes. So we are saying a big thank you and a big warm congratulations and not bye-bye. I mean,
bye for
see
now.
You and talk to you. Yeah. But I'm really proud of you and I'm really happy for you. And I think it's the right move for you.
Oh, thanks. Well, before we get into the bulk of our episode, we do like to read comments at the top. So I figured I'd just read one from last week's episode. This is from Laura in the French Alps, a longtime listener. I am crying Fat Mascara tears, but my makeup's not budging because I've been trained by you, Jess and Jen. I can't believe how I've taken you for granted to guide us through life and beauty with a strong moral compass and all the belly laughs along the way. I assumed you'd always be there. Thank you for helping me build the confidence to become a makeup artist. Praying that one day you will bring FM back and raising a wand to you. Love from Laura in the French Alps. I'm not crying, you're crying.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, I feel like there's been so many folks who have really shared their journeys into not just like their own beauty journeys, but beauty professions along the way. And I don't know, that's always been like a cool slant, I think, with Fat Mascara people, because we really have, I think we speak to the enthusiasts, but we also have been speaking to the insiders, not in a snooty way, but like people who are in the wheel of the industry. So
I also want to just shout out, because Laura's been with us for a while. She comments often, a couple of our other super fans, Suzanne, Kelly, Carl, Jenna, Courtney, whoever started our private Facebook page, I can't remember, but to you, Raspberry Blase, I see you, Holly, Laubon Perfumes, they always talk to Anna Heason Green, hello, Sean, Jody, Anya.
She's got great animal content, Anna.
Yes. And if I didn't mention your name, but you contact us a lot, I know who you are. That's just a couple of our big FM fans, members of the fam, so...
We'll miss you, but we'll always be connected. And you have the archives, and like, we're not going anywhere. I always feel like it sounds like, oh my God, like, can you imagine if you just stumbled upon Fat Mascara and you're like, oh, how many episodes do they have? 700.
I mean, when the AI overlords take over, they will be able to definitely replicate us with an android, considering they have hours and hours of our personality and voices. So...
I'd like to think there's a little special something that they won't be able to replicate.
The chemistry.
The chemistry, but also that little,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So this is a fun exercise.
That's a topic to unpack, AI. Oh my God.
It sure is. This is sort of like one of our naughty and nice episodes is how I'm approaching this whole thing.
Oh my God, naughty and nice.
Which we do every year at the end of the year, but this is the end of the podcast, so we're going to just look
Christmas
back.
Won't be the same. Christmas.
What are you going to do this Christmas? I don't know. Maybe we'll come back on the mics
Holiday. I was the one who said Christmas, but anyway. Yes, but what are we going to do? I don't know. Maybe we'll have to do a virtual ping pong.
A reunion. All right. You want to like get into it? And...
I think I should actually start because
Yeah, well, let me play some music one last time, some transition music, and then we'll get into it.
Okay, so here's how I approached this exercise. First of all, I had such a blast doing this, okay? I did it like over the week. It just came to me like a vision. I was like, this is, if I'm thinking like, okay, what was the last like 10 years or 9 years, whatever, Fat Mascara, like, I got this song in my head and it was like, it was a song, it was a vision. It was like, when like 80s sitcoms, like I love an 80s sitcom, basically sat in front of the TV every day for like 6 hours when I was younger. It was like, this song, like, show me that smile. Ooh, show me that smile. Okay, I'm tone deaf, but like,
do you mean
growing pains?
Smile again.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then I had the Family Ties, like, What Would We Do, Baby, Without Love, where they show all the picture frames.
Okay.
Well, that was the second version of the opening credits. That was like another season. But where they show like people having fun from throughout the season. You're like, oh, I love that episode. Yes. Oh, I know that one they all like had it on the water fight in the front lawn. It was like, what would our Fat Mascara opening montage be?
What would it be?
I didn't even have to look. These things like came to me.
I'm ready.
Okay. I hope you guys aren't all laughing about how tone deaf I am. Okay. The first one, and I tried to put them in some sort of logical order, was us showing our guests how to download the podcast. Just like in the Embassy Row studios.
I can picture it.
Like I'm picturing, I don't want to like call her out because a very famous person in beauty who is like a mogul showing them like how to do, it was like, where is it? And then sometimes like the people would have the young like 20-something assistant with even like them would be like, where is it? Taking out their phones and I'd be like, the purple thing. Oh, you don't even have it set up on your main screen. And then we'd have to download the app. And the whole thing was so like embarrassing. We even thought about getting cards that had our Fat Mascara and on the back, how to download.
What is a podcast? How to download a podcast.
It's like, it's the radio, but like whenever you want.
How many times do we have people come in who thought they were going to be on a TV show and then they came in
hair and makeup ready?
Yeah, which is great. We love when your hair and makeup ready, but wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so like that kind of like befuddlement. Okay, so that's like that's one of mine.
It was 2015 when we started working on this. So yes, that was pre-podcast era.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
We're going back and forth. That's funny because this actually goes to one of the things I want to remember is the entourages. So
oh my God,
we've been in multiple physical studios over the years and then became virtual during the pandemic and have stayed virtual. Mm-hmm. But I pulled out 4 people that I remember having.
I know exactly who you're going to say.
Do you really? All right. Well, here's the 4 that I remember.
And Lake always says overtalk. She goes, don't overtalk me. I don't want to overtalk you, but I'm so excited.
Okay. Well, the first one was Kat Von D.
Yes. That's it.
When Kat Von D came to the studio, it was like, she didn't walk in first, actually. There were like 2 people, then a third person. She walks in, she's like 8 feet tall with big shoes. And then like, I'm ready to close the door. And it was like a clown car. Like 4 more people came in, like all set. I think it was like 9 people.
There were at least 9 people.
Okay, she had a huge entourage. Kathleen Lights, remember the influencer Kathleen Lights? Yeah. Kathleen Fuentes?
Yeah.
Huge entourage. Don't know why.
I kind of remember that, yeah.
Paula Bagoon had quite an entourage.
Yeah, she had a lot of people.
P.S., as I was looking back up, there's a whole thread about our episode with her on Reddit, which I didn't even know. That was a classic Fat Mascara episode.
Not a high point.
No, that episode is seared in my memory. It was great. It was what podcasting is, when you just have real conversations and people can hear what's really going on in the room, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, last one that I was thinking about was Suzanne Summers. Rest in peace, Suzanne Summers.
My God, that was great.
First of all, she was a delight.
Her husband's so
beautiful,
awesome.
Beautiful, kind, weirdo in a good way, like my kind of weirdo person. And her husband was with her and a publicist. And it was like old New York walked into the room, like from the 1980s, like the way they ran stuff. She was great.
She was so kind, and her husband was kind. I was pregnant at the time, and they wanted to talk about, they were just like, they were asking us a lot of personal questions. I remember, I just feel like they cared about, it wasn't one way, it was 2-way. And it was like, a lot of people don't have, I don't want to say like social skills, but there's not genuine interest in the other person in like business situations. And they genuinely had interest in where they were and who they were talking to. And I thought they were really warm.
A real curiosity.
Yeah. They were very curious people, very nice people, kind people.
And then do you remember any other entourages I might have forgotten about?
No, but I remember people who did not have an entourage. Emily Weiss, I remember not even realizing it was her down to like, I think it was Embassy Row. Yeah, it was. And she was just wearing like a puffer and jeans, and she was like on her phone. And I was like, oh, Emily. Like I didn't realize it was her downstairs. That was before, Glossier was huge, obviously. It was like 2017 or 18. But it wasn't like she came with the publicist, which now I'm sure she would have many people around her. And Linda Evangelista, which this was before she had the whole cool sculpting crisis. Or at least before she was public about it, she came by herself. She lives in the city.
I think chill. She just rolled in.
She rolled in, no makeup, and she let us take a photo of her.
This is another one of my moments, cuddling on the couch with Linda Evangelista.
I'm sorry. Okay, well, I guess a good segue then. I mean, imagine her today rocking up with no makeup, no entourage to a podcast to talk about stuff. Now she was on the Harper's Bazaar Goodbye podcast recently. Yes, it's a different kind of show, but like that was super hyper produced.
Yeah, there was an intimacy to a lot of the interactions we had. I think because it wasn't video, which by the way, everybody loves a video podcast now. I still think people open up so much more when you're just audio.
10,000%. All right, give me another one, then we'll pop to me.
Another, not entourage, another moment.
Anything. You can talk about
this is perfect. Models. The models.
Oh, yeah.
Some of our best interviews were with models, cuddling on the sofa with Linda Evangelista. I remember she ran so hot. I run cold.
Yeah, she was hot.
We sat together. First of all, you tried taking a freaking photo with Linda Evangelista. Are you kidding me? Every photo, Jess and I were like, let's see it, because our producer took them. And we were like, nope, no thank you. The profile on her, beautiful. Anyway, Veronica Webb, teaching me to walk and find my light. Remember
I didn't
that?
know what she meant. She kept on saying, find your light. And it was like, it clicked for me at the very end. I was like, what are you talking about? The light's stationary. It's not moving. She was like, find your light.
Move.
Right. I didn't
know your good angle on your side.
Yeah.
Keep that towards the light. She just knew how to do it.
the way she was explaining it, I didn't get it until like so long. And then I was like, ah,
find the light.
Yeah, but she was
You know
great.
who we didn't find the light with?
Who?
Miranda Kerr.
Oh, she's so stunning.
Her face, we tried to take like a close-up of the three of us. That whole interview is interesting to me because she and I probably are I can't think of a more opposite guest I've had. She was very crystals and woo-woo, but she's warm and lovely.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lovely conversation, but then she like brought us in for like, I think we might have done a boomerang with her. Was this a boomerang when boomerangs were a thing?
I don't remember doing a boomerang.
I have Karen Elson, Ashley Graham, Cindy Crawford.
Cindy Crawford. I was like, when are you going to drop Cindy?
I was going to end on Cindy because one of my favorite moments on the podcast when you just pretty much narrated her entire infomercial back to her. She loved it though. You're like, and remember when you ran through the fields with Dr. Sabag? And she's like, yes. Thank you.
She was great. She was a great interview. And you can see, I don't know, you can just see why she's so successful. She was awesome. That was when I wish it was in person. Oh my God. Okay. All right. So if we were doing in the montage in my mind,
okay.
The dual, like the breadth of our guests, right? So a lot of podcasts have, it's a theme. They cover this, they cover that, you kind of get who the guests are. I would love to do like a quick cut of the different guests we've had. We had Suits, like one of our first big Suits, our first big exec was John Dempsey when he was executive VP or president. I'm getting his title wrong at the time, but basically the big honcho, the big mucky muck at Estee Lauder companies. So we had him. And then we also had Theo Kogan, who was the lead singer of the punk band, The Lunatics, where when I used to see her growing up, she was like spitting blood and wearing like a nurse's outfit. So I'd love to see a cut too of John, then Theo, then Gary Archer, the dentist.
Oh my God, Gary Archer!
Who makes fake teeth for every cool movie you've ever seen in your life, like Oscar-winning movies in the indies. And then you have somebody like Sir John, who's like known for basically working with every major pop star and Beyonce, of course. The breadth of our guests, I would just want to see like boom, 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 all over the map. All over the map. So it's not a memory, it's more of like a what the hell just happened? And then thinking about the things they're saying. So in the montage of our mind, there's usually a music overlay. I'm being really literal here. We'd have to pause. There's two things. These are not beauty things, but they're kind of like cultural technology things that have stuck out to me, that our guests have said that I always think about. Orlando Pita, this is way back. He was like the first year that we did the show. Hairstylist Orlando Pita, love him. I think he's the most beautiful, voluminous, elegant sculptural hairstyles. Also did Madonna's hair during the Bedtime Story era. He said that if you ignore what's happening with the social, at the time it was really just Instagram. This is like before TikTok and everything. He's like, it's like the steam engine. And he wasn't someone who was like wildly embracing Instagram. He's not like a social media cutie. But he's like, if you ignore it, it's like ignoring the steam engine. It's like ignoring the printing press. He's like, it's like ignoring, this is just technology. And you have to either get on or like risk being basically outdated. And it was interesting to hear someone who was such an icon and not part of that generation just be so factual and unemotional about it. And then the other person who really stuck in my mind was Poppy King. And her interview was like very personal. Two things she said, actually. One, she bemoaned the pace in which the beauty industry was going with the pace of launches, the pace of, we came from the era of the hero product. We still set a kind of laud the indie designer or like the brilliant artist, but then we destroy them with like, okay, what are your next 10 SKUs next month? Because we want to pump out that volume and that cadence. And that's something that I still see. And it's kind of like crushing brands. And it's like the nose eating the tail kind of thing. I don't know what that expression is, but you guys get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was she said, scrolling is the new smoking. That attention economy. And I see that everywhere I go. Scrolling is the new smoking. And she's so anti that. And she's not trying to be an influencer. She's not trying to stay with the crowd in that way.
Episode 45, January 2017. That was her episode, just so everybody gets a reference.
And I always think about that when I'm like, oh my God, like I feel like kind of gross after I've been like scrolling for a while.
Oh, and she pops in your head, scrolling is the new smoke.
So it's like, this is not a healthy behavior, and we all know it. We all know it. And I don't know if it'll ever come out in like 50 years that like this is really bad.
Yeah.
Or if it's like, oh no, this is just the way it is now, move on, lady. But it's a cute phrase, but I think
those two things are tied together for me. It's interesting. Those are the two that stick with you because they both speak to the passage of time, I think.
Yeah, and we've seen the industry, like all industries, whether you're in sports, finance, whatever, food, it doesn't matter.
Or innovation. Yeah, they speak to like, here's how things innovated.
How things are innovating.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're negative though, a little bit on the end.
No. Orlando is saying like,
oh yeah.
No, Orlando is saying you have to evolve or die. But there's like, you have to be eyes wide open about it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those were two really poignant moments on the show that always stick with me.
I did something similar. I was like, just thinking back, like which interviews stuck out to me. I don't know for what reason we've had so many good ones, but these things that are stuck in my head. One though is just for you, was you and Dick Page. I loved that interview so much. And I always think about at the end, like people who love a discontinued lipstick. Because how many times have we gotten calls about
my God,
a discontinued product?
Yeah.
And Dick was kind of a dick. He was just like, he's like, yeah, that color exists. I guarantee you, go out into the stores, the color you bemoan exists. And he called it Mrs. Frodo on her quest for a lipstick that doesn't exist. He's like, people get so attached to these colors. And we know it because we hear it from you. And you guys were talking about poking fun at the fact that like, it's not just the color. It's the moment in time when you wore that favorite lipstick. It's the name of it. It's the way it smelled. It's the touch of it. And just him being like, well, good luck to you, Mrs. Frodo, on your quest for that lipstick. And I always think about him saying that when people get super attached to a beauty product. I loved that episode. I loved my interview with Dr. Alex Box. I think about that a lot. It has to do with technology. Also, she was like one of the reasons I let my white streak of my hair grow in. So it was so cool to like meet her. And for some reason, Kristen Bell's interview stays with me. I think it was deep pandemic. Like we were in a weird, goofy time.
Yeah, that was so deep pandemic. And I wish that I didn't read her after I had a kid because I've seen Frozen 80,000 times. I didn't even know that she was the voice of Anna. I had no idea.
She was just funny and real. And I remember she popped open her laptop and she was like laying on her stomach on the floor, didn't know entourage.
Wasn't she like in the attic? She was in
she couldn't find Wi-Fi and she was like walking around. It was like the least celebrity.
She had an assistant that was like yelling not yelling like badly, but she was like, I felt like she was like a friend we were just talking to this friend in the house.
And I picture, she talks about being in the bathtub sometimes and locking the door and she'd see her kids' little fingers under the doorknob trying to get into mommy and like saying mommy and just like, I picture it like a horror movie of just like little zombies trying to get in there. And the way, she's just a really good storyteller and the way she told the story, I just like, that vision is stuck with me. But ultimately, the episode, and you know what I'm going to say, my favorite of all time, listen if you haven't. Do you know what I'm going to say?
You don't? I have zero clue what you're going to say.
It's Heather Widows.
Oh, that makes total sense.
The philosopher. She blew Jess and my minds.
Oh my God. Yeah.
She reoriented the way I think about others and my interactions with them 100%.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with my parents afterwards. I was like, you don't have to acknowledge that people have lost weight. You don't have to talk about their looks. You don't have to ask about their haircut. You don't have to invite conversation about someone's looks unless they want you to. And that looksism is as prevalent, more prevalent than other forms of discrimination. And it was just like, oh my God, we have a podcast about beauty culture. How have we not talked about this before? She just blew my mind. The whole thing.
That was a paradigm shifter.
Loved her accent. Where was she from? Leeds, maybe? Somewhere in the north. I don't know. I don't know England. You lived in England. I just loved that episode. So yeah, those were some of my favorites.
Well, that was like very academic and very deep. Can I add a Hollywood corner, please?
Do your Hollywood corner.
Okay.
We'll take a little break after that. Go ahead.
Okay.
What do we got? What do you got?
I'm sorry, but like in the montage of my mind, there we are in a movie theater trying to find our seats. And we're at the premiere for Julia Roberts' movie, Ben is Back. And on the Upper West Side, we scored an invite because a little birdie told us that Julia Roberts was a listener and we were invited. And we went to the starry premiere. We were carrying our popcorn and sodas, more on that later. Carrying full in our arms, spilling over, trying to find our seats. And we see Julia and she waves, Jenn Jess. And we wave. We have a very brief interaction before we sit down.
She called us over. She waved like she knew us.
No, it was like, oh my God, hi, hey, what's up? You made it. Cut to, we see the movie, very sad, very good. Ben is Back. And we go to the after party where we see her. It's fabulous. And we take a picture with her. It was like, we had at least a minute or so of like real conversation. I go home. I feel like Cinderella, turned back into a pumpkin. About a week or so later, we record the podcast. We make these jokes about how we spent like $20, $40 or something on
the popcorn. Yeah.
And then we felt like,
Well, we went to a movie premiere and we were like, we can't not have popcorn.
Yeah.
So we had to buy the popcorn.
We bought it. And then we exactly, wouldn't be like jujubes from home. And then we went into the theater and we didn't realize that right outside the door, there were all of these free extra large popcorn.
We don't get to go to Hollywood premieres.
This was new to us. We had no idea.
Know.
I'm at my desk and I get a letter. This is like, oh my God, I do miss the Hearst Tower so much sometimes. I get a real live letter at my desk, stamped and everything. It says, Jess. I open it. It's a card. See, I listen was written in pen. XO, Julia. With cash, baby. Cold hard cash. Reimbursement for Jenn and my popcorn and soda.
I think you had said a very specific number, like 15. We spent $15 on popcorn, and she put like a $10 bill and a $5 bill.
Yeah, it was like very specific. It was the funniest thing. It was, I'm going to be telling that story in like the nursing home when I don't remember anything else.
She sent you cash.
So cool, so funny. I mean, then I have a few celebrity stories. I just have I don't think this is braggadocious. I'm not like, oh my God, this is like, I'm still in stun and awe. And these are my nursing home stories. When we interviewed Jennifer Aniston 5 minutes ago and you were walking her through the tech and she was cool and chill as a cucumber. I was having, if you had an EKG hooked up to me, it would, bells and alarms would have been ringing. I'm very good like a duck. I know I project calm. You guys, wearing a diaper. Walking Jennifer Aniston through a tech mishap. Jess was texting me on the side oh, is it okay? And I'm like, it's all fine. Everything's fine. I kept it chill though, didn't I? I was freaking out. You were totally
I was certain
chill.
She was just going to close the computer and be like, never mind, this is too much work.
I definitely thought she was going to close the computer soon because She's so... Cool. There was so much to do, and I felt so
guys,
badly.
Picture your Zoom meetings that you have at work where so-and-so doesn't have the camera on. Can you hear me? I'm here. Your audio's off. Are you talking? Blah, blah, blah. Picture that with freaking huge celebrities.
The most
That's
A-list.
what I do as producer.
I was dying. Oh my God. It was so great. But I was also peeping, I was like, oh, that's a nice couch. That's a nice vase. I'm like, I can't.
Well, because you didn't have to be the one slowly being you see the drop-down menu? How many times have you heard me say that? You see the thing that looks like a gear? Go down there. You see the little microphone icon? How many times?
The fact that you said, do you see the thing that looks like a gear to Jennifer Aniston? And she was like, was probably one of the funniest moments of my life. I was trying to keep it together because it was very serious.
You also never know how tech savvy someone's going to be. So I had my patter that I do with everybody. And I was like, well, she may not be, a makeup artist. Yes. She might be Jennifer Aniston, but she's going to get the same shtick.
Last one. This is early days. This is early days when I was an active Twitter user for 5 minutes. I got a Twitter mention and it was listening to Fat Mascara is being at a slumber party with your best friends or something. And it was Molly Ringwald. And then we had her on the show. And I was like, are you kidding me? Molly Ringwald. And anyway, we had her on the show. And honestly, Molly is just the best. She is the best.
Okay, we're back. I have something to play for you, but first, since we were talking about celebrities, I also have to just remember a couple moments. Remember when Kimora Lee Simmons wouldn't turn her camera on?
Do you know that I repress some of these things?
I know.
Or
we
suppress.
make it a rule over when we went in March 2020, when we went remote and we started recording virtually, we made it a rule that you had to have your camera on because, like, how do you have a conversation with somebody without their camera?
It's weird.
And I really wanted Kimora Lee Simmons. I used to be like a Baby Fat fan back in the day. And so she comes on, but refuses to turn on her camera. It's the only time we've let that go. And if you listen to the episode, it's like, no, you can't have a conversation with someone when you can't see them.
I totally forgot that. Oh
Yeah.
my God. The pandemic episodes are so strange.
Yeah. Opposite of that, equally virtual, Kim Kardashian. What happens? Get to the studio. Guess who's already there? Guess who's already sitting in the studio, completely plugged in, waiting. Kim Kardashian probably got straight A's in school. She was just like the most professional person ever, had her stuff together, beat us to the studio. I think at that time we still had like a remote producer helping us out. So she was the opposite, but those are two celebrities that stand out for me. Okay, moving on. I have something to play for you.
I'm scared.
If you recognize this moment, let me just find it because it also stays with me.
Does your hair feel moisturized? I love all the pulpy bits. They feel like they're really just chunks of moisture. I feel like they're really they're like little action-packed, like the mitochondria of moisture. The powerhouses of moisture.
Oh my God, this is so Amazon Fresh.
I love how it just like this one slipped through my knuckles right there. That didn't gross me out at all.
It's the Amazon Fresh ad.
So that was our first experiment with branded content, and it was Amazon Fresh. And what I say, I've never laughed so hard in my life. Jess is a consummate professional. When she needs to be on camera and or selling something or doing her job, she will keep a veneer of professionalism. But I know her so well. Like there, I think you were trying to be funny, but like that entire video, I have like 72 takes of it.
Oh my God.
Jess, so we had to use Amazon Fresh ingredients to make our own beauty treatment.
Right,
If
yeah.
you listen to the podcast, you now know we don't do a lot of DIY beauty treatments. There's some fabulous products out there. You don't need to. I do like cooking and mixing around, whatever. So I came up with some, I think I came up with the recipes because you were like,
you
whatever.
came up with the recipes.
So we did a banana hair mask. I can see in the background too, our Amazon Fresh ingredients. There was some organic green tea, coconut oil, and bananas that we ordered from Amazon Fresh. And so we're going to make these hair masks together. It would look like baby food chunks, beige, gross, and she's pretending to so sweetly like stroke it through her hair like she is actually enjoying it, and everything on her face is telling me, what the fuck have you gotten us into, Jen? Like, what are we doing? And this isn't pleasant at all. The pulpy bits. We got some close-ups of like banana squishing through your fingers.
I could feel the little chunks going through like the
mitochondria moisture. Also, when have you ever said mitochondria in your life except for that moment?
When I had to build a cell with food in elementary school, like everyone.
Were the squiggly gemelli noodles the mitochondria? Like a pasta cell?
Yes.
I remember that moment. But this is to say, like, over the years, now that we don't have to do them anymore, we didn't have ads at first. But if I played for you some of the outtakes of us trying to record these ads.
Oh my God.
This is just purely for me and you. Red, who became our producer in 2020, late
Love
2020.
Red. Love Red.
And now owns a huge podcasting company. And Enrique works with us every day. But Red
Rock Studio. Red Rock.
Red would sometimes just slack me, like cuts he did of our ads of like just me saying, I'm sorry, this is going to get explicit, but I often say, fuck my life. So it would just be like me talking about like, oh, aloe yoga. Fuck. Remembering the names of these products and making it sound professional. We've had Sephora, Ulta Beauty, Daily Harvest. I got my mattress from our sponsors.
Me too.
We had Brooklinen.
Love Brooklinen.
It's the house that podcasting built. I got a sofa one time. Remember that like build your own sofa that was our sponsor? I can't remember the name. Use code Fat Mascara. Listen, when in doubt, guys, if you're ever on a website, especially Honeylove, you know where you sent that. That's probably my favorite sponsor of all time. But just use code Fat Mascara. You never know what's going to happen. Or mascara. Just try it. You might get a discount. How many ads have we done over the years?
a lot. And I remember getting the first time we had an ad, I remember getting the fit of giggles, like collapsing, because I was just like, this is so funny. It's so funny. Like, and now it's like auto.
Wait, what do you got? Masterclass? Okay, got it. Go.
Okay. I've got a couple of
Quince, got
minis.
it. Go.
Just kind of,
Okay.
this
Go
is
for
like
it.
a hot list. Ready? It's like a hot list of minis. When we recorded with the Too Faced founders, Jaron
Yeah.
was in the studio and he had
Blendino.
this was a real
Set a scene.
Yeah, we recorded. This was our like second studio. This was at Will Studios.
Mm-hmm.
And they had like a little hut that we would record in. It was like picture like a little tree house that was in the studio. So it was really dark. It was like a padded tree house.
Gray felt soundproof
Gray
box.
felt, yeah.
But sure, picture it as a tree house.
I pictured it like a tree, okay, like a gray felt studio. And he was in there and like something was shining in this darkness. And I looked down and I have never seen a ring that size in my life. And I've seen a lot of really big rings, like
diamonds.
Yeah, I don't mean like, oh, I've seen a lot of big rings. I just feel like
you worked at Harper's Bazaar. We get it.
I worked at Harper's. Yeah, I've seen a big ring. This ring was an ice cube teetering on a band, and
I mean an inch. I want to say an inch.
It was an inch. It was an inch,
3/4,
and it was so clear, and I couldn't focus on the interview. I was just thinking, we need a guard here.
I'm so tacky. I stick my foot in my mouth all the time. I think I asked him if it was real.
It was. We don't need to go see the Hope Diamond. We don't need to go see the Crown Jewels.
And he was like, honey. Like, of course.
I don't remember what he said, but it was just like
the ring that Too Faced bought him or something. Like, because when
it was, just like I feel like I've seen one of the eighth wonders of the world. It was,
and it was
unbelievable.
On Dino's finger.
No, it was again a tail. But I was like, we got to get you in a car. We got to get you back. I don't know. You can't be walking around like that. But it was something. Okay, with Linda Evangelista again. This was one of my faves. I tried to create like a cute game for us called Evangelism. This is when I was trying to do like Andy Cohen style, Watch What Happens live games. Cut to in a second, we'll segue. And it was like, evangelism, exclamation point. And I was like, it was like things she's excited about.
I think you even presented it with that same inflection. Evangelism.
Yeah. And she wasn't getting it. And that was a flopperino.
Like, and you're like, my game.
Yeah, I know. So I stopped doing little games like that. It was too embarrassing. Okay, I said, I was inspired by Watch What Happens Live. We recorded in the studio where Watch What Happens Live, not the same room, but the same building where Watch What Happens Live is recorded.
Our first production company was also the production company for that TV show.
Exactly. So thank you for the content. Thank you for bridging those two things together. Well, we had an amazing opportunity to be on Watch What Happens Live as the bartenders within like the first year of Fat Mascara. That was a surreal and amazing experience.
July 17th, 2016. For those who want to try and find it, because girl, I spent 45 minutes on the Lord's internet trying to find the episode so I could play it, the audio. It's season 13, episode 119. The guests are Billy Eichner and Jacqueline Larita. Am I saying that right?
From Real Housewives of New Jersey.
And Andy talks to us. I think he called you a girl from New Jersey and we had to do shot skis on the shots. And then we mixed drinks, but he wasn't happy with our mixing skills at all.
I was just frozen. I was just smiling the whole time.
You looked so pretty, but I don't think you said a word. I think you were just smiling.
I had a frozen smile. I was so like,
I can't get the episode though, because it's so long ago. It was 2016. I went on Peacock and then they were like, they only had a couple highlights, of course. And let me just tell you right now, the highlight of that episode was not Jess and I. It was Billy Eichner and then it was like something else. But yeah, we were on Watch What Happens Live.
It's definitely like, if I have to share a fun fact one day, like at a new job, that's a good fun fact.
I was a bartender on Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah, that's definitely blow away.
Yeah, that was a good one.
All right. Anything else? I know there are other things, but our Fat Mascara events, our listener events were amazing.
Oh, we had a Nexus. We did one where everybody could come and get to a salon.
Blowouts.
We made your own scrubs with St. Ives. Remember how fun that was?
That was incredible.
Oh, everybody came and picked a scent and we made scrubs. That was fun.
You got
Davines. We did planting. Things. Everybody planted a little basil plant and we learned about Davines hair care.
A Nikutal. We had like a sniffing event.
Yes. We also did one at I want to say, wait, was it Diptyque, Francis Kirk Dijon? Which perfume
It was
store?
Diptyque. We had a conversation with Chandler Burr.
Yes, in the Diptyque store. That was super fun. We did it with Givaudan.
Mm-hmm. We've done a lot of great events.
Yeah, IRL. Those were good ones. The little moments too that I wanted to bring up. I don't know why this stays with me. When I found out Jawara, the hairstylist, when I found out his aunt was Lady Saw.
Oh, I remember that.
And I lost my shit.
Wasn't he wearing, because he was wearing a shirt.
I don't remember did he have a shirt on?
He had a shirt on.
Or he just mentioned that like something about Jamaica and like dance hall. And I was like, oh, do you know? Of course he doesn't know. And he was like, that's my aunt. I worked in her hair salon. Like we worked, and I lost that was just like a amazing moment for me. I don't know why. That just made me really happy. And I'm just trying to think, I have other ones too. Oh, now I have my schmoopy moment, but I'll save that towards the end. Is there anything else fun?
Oh God, you're going to get schmoopy.
I have a little bit of a schmoopy moment.
Oh God.
Anything
I don't know
else?
if I can take it this morning. I mean, there's so much, but I feel like otherwise
we're going to put this on Spotify, and I know we can't play any more listener voicemails, but please go on Spotify and comment on this episode what your favorite moment of Fat Mascara was.
Oh my God, I'd love to know.
I would love, love, love to know. It means so much to us.
Favorite guest, favorite episode.
Just tell us. It'll be a fun like little internet archive that'll just live for as long as Spotify is around. Who knows? Some conglomerate will buy it in like 2 years. Orlando Pita said the steam engine keeps steaming.
It's like the steam engine. He's like the railroad. Yeah, he's like the railroad. The steam engine is. I forget exactly what the metaphor he used, but it was like that. And I think about that all the time.
Yeah. So the schmoop moment for me is the consistency of this podcast and of spending time with you each week, but also our listeners. Mm-hmm. Because if I go back, it's August 2015, and we're starting to work on this project. I was 36. That was almost 10 years ago, right? 11 years ago. The consistency of this podcast has been like through the ups and downs of my personal life in the last 10 years, which I don't talk about on the air. You don't really as much either, but it just has helped me get through. I had a 13-year relationship. I was practically married to a man. That whole thing dissolved while I was still coming in every week. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I lost my apartment. I never talked about it on the air. Then I had to go through all this legal crap. I got my parents' apartment. I got married at 40 like a crazy person. This got me through the death of my grandmother, Ruby. She's like a fairy godmother of the show. She is my beauty like inspiration. Her Shalimar, how many times have we talked about it? This podcast got me through it. The COVID, the pandemic, which was horrible. My father-in-law dying during the pandemic. And I don't even know if we mentioned that on the air. He got COVID. That was a mess. I had all these medical issues in 21 and 22. I'm not talking about that now. Let's not get too personal. But multiple surgeries, broken foot. And every week, this was the thing that I could come back to and be happy and find connection. And this way, I know this isn't that kind of podcast where we share all that personal stuff, but just so you know, throughout the last 9 years, so much has changed in Jess and my life, but you guys have always been there and always consistent. And so have you, Jess. So thank you.
I know this has been a really amazing community to come back to. And, I've always thought that I'm not here because I'm obsessed with finding the right retexturizing serum. I think you probably know me well enough to know that I love beauty products, but I love the people and connections. And obviously we've been together for almost a decade now, to have this moment every week with you and with our listeners, and hearing from you guys and everyone who comes into this virtual. You can clearly tell in the beginning it was in person. Sometimes with wine. Do you remember we used to get wine?
Oh, yeah. Because it'd be after work. We always would come on a Wednesday. Work. It was once a week. We'd roll down to the studio.
I know. But the fact that we were able to transition this also feels like it's from Mars. To transition this to a virtual thing with a virtual community is incredible, and a testament to how much we all wanted to be here and to connect together, audially. Okay, now a little bit kind of, visually, but that says so much that goes beyond technology. It's just about our own humanity and wanting to connect with one another.
And people.
Yeah.
On that note, I'm going to list off some names. If you think I missed any, shout them out, Jess, but I'm going to just say the people that have helped us over the years, there's so many of them. If we don't say your name, we're sorry, but I want to thank Britton Shea, Belle Roman, and Charlotte Council. At Will Media, Will Malnati, Jackie Danziger, Michelle Mason, Elliot Davis, Rachel Leitner, Molly Soka. Our interns, I hope I'm getting you all, Yaz Vieth, Chloe Anello, Luca, can't remember Luca's last name, Olivia Quinton, Tiffany Suknandan, intern Tiff,
Whoa.
Emma Hall, Valerie Light, Georgina Kim, Ellie Dixon, Lexi McCallion. Then, of course, Red Rock Music, Red Yoakum, Enrique Hinojosa, Crystal Miranda, who's been helping us for the last year and a half with our social. And of course, all of the guest co-hosts we have over the years. When I had to take time off or Jess had to take time off, two of the most important, our own Julie Wilson and our Garrett Muntz, who've been part of us for a year now. All of you, Andy Cohen for discovering us. Julia Roberts for the $15.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you guys so much.
Get your beauty
We
sleep.
love you. Get that beauty sleep.
We hope you enjoyed the show.
It's your reviews and feedback that help us make the podcast even better. Head over to iTunes to rate and review us or email your thoughts to info@fatmascara.com.
We also want to answer your beauty questions and hear what products you love. To share a Razor One product review or to ask a beauty question, email us at info@fatmascara.
If you send it as a voice memo file, we can even share your voice on the podcast. You can also do that by leaving us a voice message. Our phone number in the United States is 646-481-8182.
Thanks so much for listening.